Welcome to our Amud Yomi Shiur. We're learning Makkos. Makkos Daf Chaf Aleph Amud Aleph. Chaf Aleph Amud Aleph. We are now in the two dots. Omer of Malkia, Omer of Adabar Ava. We discussed the fact that basically, we discussed the fact that tattoo, service ka'akua, is something definitely osir midoraisa. It's something that, according to Rav Malkia, as we're going to see soon, even if the person has a medical issue, such as the person has a wound, and he wants to fill that wound as it's healing, already healed, with afer, with ashes. But that ashes, those ashes are efer makla, they're strong black ashes, and they will stay. They will create a mark in his skin, although he's not trying to make a tattoo, but that looks like a tattoo. That may be an isser, at least the rabbanon, if not the oraisa, because it looks like a ksovis kakai tattoo. We did learn this yesterday here. We are reviewing what we saw yesterday for the simple reason that the recording went to stop too short. So we're reviewing just for the sake of us and for those who watch us online. Omar of Malki, Omar of Adabarava. Also, remember the name is of Malkia, finishing with an Aleph, Malkia. That's Samora, the quotes of Adabarava. Also, Lolodom sheet and Efer Makle al Gabe Makkosai. A person is not allowed to put Efer Makle, black ashes, on top of his wound. The lotion sounds like it's an Isser of, could be it's the Rabbanon of Maris Ayin, Nires. It looks as if you are mekakea, because really it's not kakua. You really didn't inject the ink. You didn't, right, harm yourself with, creating that to the classical way. But since lemaisa leaves a mark in your skin for a very, very long time, so that is considered one level or the other as an isser of kakua. Now we are going for just a few minutes that we're going to see a Gemara that appears 6 places in Shas about avoiding confusion between Rav Malkia and Rav Malkiyu. There are two Amoraim with a very similar name, of Malkia and of Malkiyu. There is a question, there's a possible confusion about who said what. What did Rav Malkia say? What did Rav Malkiyu said? And that, what did Rav Malkiyu say? And that's why we are now putting things in order. Omar Rav Nachman Brei de Rav Ika. Rav Nachman de Rav Ika says as follows: I know who said what. Shipud shfochois vegumois Rav Malkiu, which means shipud or shifud is what? A skewer that was used in Yom Tov, and now it's muktzeh because it did the job already. It's disgusting, full of leftovers. Something like that is muktzeh most. So you're not allowed to use it. But Rav Malkiu says that Ramalkiu says you're allowed to just put it quickly, bederech agav, either push it with your elbow, however that is, in a way that is less significant. You put it in the corner, that you're allowed to do. Shfochos of Malkiu. Now, shfochos, remember, is not an Amoraic statement. Shfochos is something mentioned in the Mishnah. The Mishnah in Ksuba says that a woman is obviously obligated to work in the house for her husband, for the family. If the woman brought many shfochos, she brought with her 100 maidservants. She comes from, I don't know, Beverly Hills. She comes with 100 shfochos, maybe South Africa in the good old days. And what? And now she says, I'm not going to work the whole day. I'm not going to do anything. I'll sit in front of, I don't know, a game. I don't know, she'll watch soccer the whole day. I don't know what she'll do. So then says the Mishnah, according to one opinion, that's supported by Rav Malkiu, no, you're not allowed to have a situation in which a woman doesn't do anything all day long, because the famous line is, a batola mevila de shimum mevila de chet. A woman or a man too. A man, we assume, either goes to work or goes to koilel. The woman sits at home the whole day. That creates shimum, which is boredom, and then chet, she'll come to sin, right? So now that's not good. Now, and that Rav Malkiu is supporting that Tana that says that. The gumois, what's gumois? Let's say you have a girl. The case there is a girl. It could maybe apply to a boy too. The case there is a girl that has 2 pores. The pores that the skin comes out of. Each skin has like a little hole. if a girl of the age of, about 12 or around when it's questionable, she has those gumas without hair, we assume that the hair was there but fell down, right? Stama was noisher, fell down, but therefore she's called a gedola with nafkamina. She can't do miyun anymore, it says in Nida v'chulei. Now, out of these three statements, let's keep our heads on the what? Only shvachois is something from a Mishnah that supported Rav Malkiu. The other statements are Moron. So that's the first three statements. That's of Malkiu, who. Now, what's of Malkiya? What did Rav Malkiya say? Bloiris. Bloiris is in Avodah Zarah Chavtes. What's Avodah Zarah Chavtes? A Jew giving haircut to a goy should make sure not to support the goyisha bad minhag of keeping one area, one tuft of hair in honor of the Avodah Zarah. Yeah, like to shave up to a point and then leave only that part. So he should stop shaving him 3 etzbois before it comes to that area. So he doesn't look significant that he shaved bidiyuk up to that Avodah Zarah spot. Therefore, a yid should be careful not to help a goy do Avodah Zarah or even look and honor Avodah Zarah with his haircut. That's bloiris. Yeah, it's a tuft of hair in the top or the back. Efer makle, hey, that's our guy. Efer makle this is America's Efer makle is our story that you're not allowed to put the ashes on your wound because it looks like a tattoo. Kakua v'gvina. Gvina is the goyshe cheese in some places in the past read in the Mishnah in Avodah Zarah, yeah, around Daf over there, the Lameds. It says over there, one's not allowed to have cheese from based on yaki and of malkiyah explains why. These three statements, the latter ones, are of Malkia. He explains don't have the gvina because I think the shmirit with chazir. He explains why goyish cheese is not your thing. There are a lot of issues. I told you not to ask me these things. There's rena. Nowadays, it's much more problematic. Leave the gvina alone. Even it was done more primitively. In certain places, they would smear the gvina with glazing, which was chazir. Even without the rennet. You're right, but even without that. So 3 statements of Malkia, 3 statements of Malkia. You have a paper? Did you give a paper to parents? Yeah. Look at that. Here we made a chart, Baruch Hashem. Malkiyu is the one who says Shipud, Shvochus, and Gumois, skewer, maidservants, and pores. Of Malkia, Bloiris, Efer Makle, and Gvina. I translated each one to English. Okay, that's the top of Nachman Breder Avika. That's the first opinion. Comes the Gemara and says Rav Pope. Rav Pope Omar, Rav Pope disagrees with Rav Nachman regarding one or two of those 6 sugyas, and he says Rav Pope Omar Masnisun Masnisa Rav Malkia. Both the Mishnah and Braisa, any Tanaik statement, anything made by the Tanoim, is really Rav Malkia's. Rav Malkia is the one saying it, and Shmaitza is Rav Malkiu. Anything that's mentioned by the Amoraim is Rav Malkiu. Soon we're going to see the chart to see what that means. The Simonech, how do you know Rav Malkia is the one who spoke about Mishnah and not about Amoraim? Masnisa Malkesa, which means 2 things. The Mishnah is like a queen. Why? Mishnah is feminine and Malkesa, queen, is feminine. Mishnah is much more important than something from the Amoraim, as we all know, right? The whole Mishnah, the whole Gemara is about whatever the Tanoim say, the Amoraim cannot argue. So therefore, of Malkiya, whose name sounds more like a woman, like a queen, so he's the master of the Braisa and the Mishnah, the Choshev ones, which also pronounce femininely. My Benayu, what's the difference between Rav Pope and Rav Nachman? Ikebenayu Shfochois. Let's see the chart. Look at the chart, Rabbi Isai. We see that look at the top of the chart of Nachman. Shvachois is mentioned in the Mishnah. That's the odd one out in of Malkiu. The odd one out but of Malkia is Efer Makle. Yeah, you see that? Ignore Mishnah and Bryce. Mishnah and Bryce are the same, but Shipud Gumos and Efer are Memra. So now says Rav Papa, I'll switch around Efer Makle and Shvachois. Because Shvachois, look down to Rav Papa's part, says Rav Papa, Rav Malkia is the one who spoke about the Mishnah, and that's Shvachois. And Rav Malkiyu spoke about Efer Makle because it's a Memra. Very good. Actually, there's other opinions how to explain it, but this is the simplest way, and we'll leave it like that, and we will not stop the recording. Back to where? Back to the tattoo artist, Lo Aleinu. Rav Bevai Bar Abaye. Kapid afilo rivda de kustilta. Rav Bevai Bar Abaye took what we said b'shem of Malkia to an extreme, and he said even Rivda de Kusilta. Rivda de Kusilta is basically they had blood letters back then. Blood letters was the closest thing to what we have as a syringe. Yeah, they would basically draw out blood. Yeah, they would make like a small hole and draw out blood. Ever been to a blood test in your life? Okay, welcome. So this is Rivda de Kusilta, even the hole made by the small thingy, by the small needle, by the needle. So if the needle, well, created a hole, and you want to heal it with some ashes, even though it's just one dot, 1 point, bad news, you're not allowed to do it. Rav Ashi Omar says Rav Ashi, Kol mokom she'shamaka makos-laden cholov. Rav Ashi argues on all of them, and Rav Ashi says no. As long as you can see that there's some kind of makkah, it's a wound, it's a hole that's not supposed to be there, something out of ordinary, which is medical, and you see that it's done because of medical purposes, as it looks like the person has a gash on his skin, or you see that he's been with a blood letter, and that's why he has a black spot, the tattoo spot, then it's allowed, or at least he's not loike, but it sounds from Shulchan Aruch, a lot of Rishonim paskin like this, that if it's a medical thing, that it's allowed. And yesterday, when we finished off the shiur, Tzvi, you told us that people go through radiation, lo aleinu, we should need that, so they have sometimes tattoo of one dot in order to, direct the whatever the rays over there. So that seemingly is okay, besides the life and death danger, but besides that, it seems to be fine. I mentioned other, because I got very negative yesterday, so I mentioned the kula. There are kulas, maybe don't try it at home, but people who look so nice, look how hairy and yeah, people who have a bald, who are bald, and they want to make fake hair. What do they do nowadays? They have like tattoo done over here that looks like natural hair. It looks like natural hair that's closely shaven. And sometimes it's a shalom bais issue, shidduchim issue. I'm not a poisek, but I know that our people are Makkos because they say that it's not a tattoo that's like a picture, like a design on the skin. Afuch, it's supposed to look natural. Yeah, it's supposed to look natural, so it's also like a medical thing. He's not trying to create a tmuna. He's trying to, adraba, extend his hair to look like real hair. I'm not here to paskin chas v'sholem, but I know there are cases when they're Makkos. Questions about permanent makeup. It looks like they're natural, not natural. It looks like a face like eyeliner. Ask your rabbi before you do that. But these questions have to do with what we're learning now. Yeah, when it doesn't look like tattoo, looks like something natural, something medical, then there is a question to be asked. Zok the Mishnah. Again, we saw the Mishnah yesterday. The Mishnah discusses how many times a person is over one isser continuously or repeatedly. How many times is a person chayv malkos? Zok the heilige Mishnah. Nazir shoyseyan koloyoim. A Nazir who's not supposed to drink wine because he promised Hashem he won't. He said I'm a Nazir. Starts drinking all day long. Ein chayv elo achas. If the hasra was in the morning, yeah, in other words, the hasra was in the morning. 9 o'clock he started just drinking spree. Yeah. Now what? They gave him a saw. If you drink, you're going to get malkos. Rabbi, what are you doing? Mr. Nazi, what are you doing? And he says, I don't care. And he drinks. Then 9:30, 10, 10:30, 11, 11:05. He keeps drinking again and again. Then he's only chayav one because the asra has to be toich kedei dibur with the maisa. That's only true about the first maisa. The other maisim were hasra or less. But if they told him al tishte, let's say before each and every drinking, look, if they're telling him, hey, don't drink wine, and he says, I don't care. The same action repeats itself again. There's a warning and a maisa, then he's chayv on each and every drink, each and every time. I assume he's chayv only in Ravis, because there's shiurim in the Torah, right? So every time he has a Ravis, is chayev on is chayev malkos separately. Oh, very nice. Yeah, not so nice, but that's what it is. Continues the Mishnah. The second Yisur of Nazir, he goes into a room with a dead person inside. He touches the dead. Yeah, comes in contact with a dead man. He goes in and out of the oil hameis, causing tumah again and again, increasing the tumah seemingly. Although tumah is a yes/no question, and he's already tumah, there's still a prohibition to bring a tumah upon himself. and every time he did it again and again, but he's only chayav one because the warning was only once at the beginning. However, Amr loy al titame, al titame, al titame, don't become tome again and again. V'hu every time the warn, and he becomes tome. The warn becomes tome. Chayav al kol achas v'achas. He's chayav on each and every time. Why? Because each hasro basically carries with it a chiyuv malkos. It's very simple. Hasro plus maisa equals chiyuv malkos again and again. I just thought of another alternative shot. 1 second, yes. You're asking a very good question, which is something that bothered me too. If the nozi is already tome because he's been in contact with the dead and he can't be Torah so quickly, right? Why? Because he needs 7 days. Tumas mace, you need third and seventh day of sprinkling of the paraduma water. So you must say, like Tzvi was saying yesterday, that you're increasing the tuma. In other words, although the tuma is already there, but to act, I think so, to act in a way, yeah, that causes tuma is a separate isser. You're acting in a way that seems as if you're increasing the tuma. That of itself seems to be an isser. Where did they take the idea from? I heard a shiur about kohanim, and they ask a question here. Rav Moshe David, he has a whole course for kohanim. And the question is, according to today's any memes, yeah, you're born in a hospital which is not super Haredi like Ches Lanyado. You're in a place where the dead people and the babies are born and die under the same roof. So the little coin chick is already tome. So who cares if we go to the cemetery? You see, we do, right? They're very, very careful not to go to cemeteries because you see that to act in a way that seems to increase the tumor is an isra of itself. That seems to be the pashto answer. I think I have another answer, but I prefer not to say it because I'm not sure. Thank you for the comment. I think so. I think that's pshat here. The third thing, a nozer is not allowed to do is to shave. He's not allowed to cut off his hair. He's not even. That the nozer is not even allowed to brush his hair. Like you on Shabbos, the Kohen has a 24/7. It's a Gemara in Shabbos Daf Nun Amud base, top of the page. Can't pull out. No, it's not. 2 hairs is chayiv malkos. In other words, a nozir, just like we can't brush our hair on Shabbos because it's for sure, it's psik resha. Inadvertently, it's going to be cut off. And nozir is not allowed to brush his hair. He can't even lather his hair. He can't lather his hair with shampoo, choifef, right? He can go like that, but he can't really go very hard on the hair in a way that will probably cause it to fall off because that's like cutting the hair. Whatever you're not allowed to do on Shabbos to your hair, nozir is not allowed to do the whole life. How does that affect his marriage life? It's a good question. Weiter, okay, but he's not allowed to brush his hair. Yeah. Now, Omrloi al tegaleach v'hu megaleach. Every time, no, I'm megaleach kol hayom. He keeps shaving and shaving. It's a long process. Yeah. Now, eino chayev velo achas. He's chayev only one because the morning, the first giluach is what he was warned about. After that, the warning is already detached from the action. It's not chayev. Omrloi al tegaleach, al tegaleach. If they tell him not to be megaleach, they told him again and again, meaning they told him don't shave, don't shave, don't shave. Every time they tell him again and again not to shave, and he does it again, there's a new action that follows each warning, then he's chayav in each and every one. I don't know what the Mishnah had to repeat the same idea 3 times. That's a question which I still have, right? It's the same concept, right? By yain, Mesim and Giluach. Now comes new stuff with a Chiddush. Not only a Nozir, any person who went to a store where they're not careful with Shatnez, and what does he do? He wears the suit. He's coming to wear the new suit with the Shatnez. This is Shatnez free, yeah? Yeah, he wears the Shatnez suit, and he was warned, hey, don't wear that. And he does wear it. The whole day is chayav only once. Even if he took off and on and off and on every time and again, but the warning was only the beginning, is only chayav one, because it goes per warning. If every time he takes it off, and they tell him, don't wear it, the 2 edim say, don't wear it, and he does. Then again, he takes it off. 5 minutes later, don't wear it, he does. He's a dafkanik, they have a power struggle. So the 2 edim, every time they warn and he does it again, he's chayav on each and every time he wears it, 39 malkos. And this, by the way, has a chiddush. We'll see it in the Gemara. Now we're coming to the big business. We're coming here to a person, a case in Amud Beis, a persona who is over 8 isurim in one go, with one action of charisha, one action of plowing one furrow, may be mechayev you 8 different distinctive malkos, because you're over 10 isur d'oraisa lav sheyesh b'maiseh, with one action 8. And Rashi Rivan prefaces it by saying they're all keilu related to charisha of shor v'chamor. Yeah. In other words, you want to, no, excuse me, all related to kilayim. In other words, you are choresh, a field that has an issue of kilayim. That's one isur, and at top of that charisha, we accumulate 7 additional isurim. We saw it yesterday, we'll see it today, and today I'm going to explain more about the 8th prohibition. Baruch Hashem. Yesh chorosh telem echod, v'chayev olav mishum shmo yina lavin. A person may plow one furrow and he's chayev 8 separate lavim in one go. Ooh, that's a very industrial guy. How could that be? A choresh, start counting them, count them in. A choresh b'shor v'chamo, he's using a donkey, an ox and a donkey. That's awesome. For sure, the poor animals, one's quick, one's fast, one's slow, one this. They don't manage. It's like a chavrusa. One's too fast, one too slow. Frustrating. They are mukdoshin. When we say they, you may raise an eyebrow. How can a chamor be mukdash? That's another question. Leave that alone. Let's say the shor is mukdash. The shor is a shor that you are designated to base a mikdash, and you're using it. Hey, mister, you're doing me'ilah. So that's Easter number 2. The kilayim bekerem, when this is taking place, this is happening in the vineyard, and now there's a vineyard there, and close enough to the vines of the vineyard, what are you doing? You are chayresh, you are plowing other stuff. Let's say vegetables, yeah? Yerek, this is, I think, the oraisa, yeah? Kilayim bekerem, you are now plowing all kinds of grains that are growing too close for comfort with the kerem, and by plowing, you are covering it. You're helping it to go deeper into the ground, yeah? Because plowing is not stump making hole; it's making hole and turning around the earth. And you're doing that, and now the kilayim zroim of, let's say, the wheat are now covered because of your plowing. Ubashvis, number 4, it happens to be the 7th year where you're not allowed to lachosh, right? You're not allowed to be bechorish ubekotzir tishbois shvis. The Yom Tov, hey, number 5. It happens to be Yom Tov. Which Yom Tov doesn't make a difference. It's a Yom Tov, so you have malkos. So these are 5 related, and there should be a 6th one, but there's 5 related to Harisha, and the guy happens to be the Kohen. He's a Kohen, so he's not allowed to be a Kohen. The Nozir, he's a Nozir. Bebeis Tuma. In that vineyard, which is also Kilayim place, what's going on? There is a dead person buried. Let's say there's a roof on top, right? There's a roof on top of the place. So now the base of Tuma means there's a dead guy there, and the whole room is infiltrated with Tuma, is imbued with Tuma. So we have 7 Isurim, but we said 8. Okay, Machlokes Rishonim. I'll tell you in Kitzer what the Rishonim here deal with. Option number 1, if you noticed what I was saying, yeah, if you paid attention, we left Mr. Chamor, look on the side. Shor v'Chamor, and they're both mukdoshin. How can a Chamor be Kodesh exactly? You're not going to bring the Chamor to the Mizbech, hopefully, right? What? Okay. Meaning, what kind of Kedusha? For what? For Bedek Habayis. Nice. Okay, very nice, very nice, very nice. The Rishonim say other things, although what you say could also work. Let's say the Chamor is the firstborn. Here's an issue. In other words, if the Chamor is the firstborn, then he has a certain level of Kedusha, meaning, what Kedusha? As you said, it's only Kedusha's domim. The value is Kodesh, according to some opinions. What are you supposed to do the Chamor? What we say in the Pasha of Tefillin, right? You're supposed to redeem it for a seh, and give the seh to the Kohen, and you stay with the Chamor, do whatever you want. And if you don't do that, you behead the Chamor. And that applies today. They do it even in America, they did it. I saw a video. Yeah, they do Pidyon Petach Chamor. They redeem the Kedusha over a seh, and a lot of people are excited about it. So now, it's a machlokes whether a Chamor at that stage was the firstborn Chamor, are you allowed to use it? And if not, some say you get malkos. Because, as you said very nicely, Tzvi, it has a status of Kodshei Bedek Habayis. In other words, it doesn't have Kedusha to go to the Mizbeach, but it has Kedusha of a lower level. But still, some say you have malkos for using Me'ilah B'mezid. Yeah, it's like Mila b'mezid if the chamor has b'chlal the level of Mila. That's another question. Some Rishon, so that's number 8. Number 8. You have the show and you have the chamor. That's a separate one. A show has a level of kedusha of he's supposed to go to really to be an oilo chatos, and you're using it oy vavoy. And the chamor has a lesser kedusha, is a different love of don't use the chamor. Okay, nice. A b'chor, it's a b'chor. Don't use the b'chor. Some people say that if you use the chamor, it's not a problem. It's either allowed or not chayiv. And they count a different number 8. Which number 8? They count dafka. You know which one? There are 2 kilayim here. When we say kila kerem, what do we mean? Normally, like Rashi, what's kilayim bekerem? It's a vineyard, and you already put in before some grains of wheat, let's say. Now that you're plowing, you're strengthening it, you're covering the chita, and what's then? You are causing it to go deeper into the ground. That's one kilayim. But there's another type of kilayim. There are 3 types of kilayim in the Torah. The another type of kilayim is, let's say, in that furrow, you have what we're called the malkos-laden from Kiddushin Daf Lametes Amud Aleph. You have chita, she'oiro, and gefen b'malkos-laden. Let's say with one drop of the hand, that's in Kiddushin Daf Lametes, if you remember, you drop together into the ground what? Grape, a seed of grape, the kernel of wheat, and a kernel of a barley. The 3 together, that's lekulan clearly isur d'oraisa. In other words, if there's one already in the ground and next to it you put another one, that could just the rabbanon, except for gefen. But if all 3 together are dropped, boom, into the ground, you chai because of kilayim, tizra kilayim. Now let's say they're already there in the furrow, and you're helping them go deeper by covering them. So you have 2 types of kilayim. You have the kilayim of what? Of the fact that there is a gefen 4 amis away, within 4 amis away, growing, already grown. The place is full of gfonim, and in the middle of the gefen, or close daladamis to the gfonim, you start plowing something else. Plus, that plowing itself has other foreign, has 3 different foreign things together. That's already 2 types of kilayim. One is kila kerem, and one is kila zroim. Because you have 2 types of kiloim, you have 2 different sets of malkos. So Tosfos takes away the what? He takes away the kedusha from the chamor. He says it's not the issue, but rather the problem is that you have 2 types of kilayim. One gefen and one that you are plowing right now, the mixture of different kernels. That is the 8th one, the mysterious one. Either this or that. So the Ritva, all Rishonim, as far as I saw, they all dance around that. It's either 2 of Mukdashim or 2 of Kilayim. Now, Zok the Mishnah. Hanani ben Chachinai says, Af aloivesh Kilayim. Let's say the person, while he was plowing the field, he was wearing a very nice, it's Yom Tov. He's wearing his nice new Hugo Boss suit. And Hugo Boss, they told me, is all kilayim. I can't afford it anyways, lucky me. I love his kilayim. He's wearing kilayim while he's plowing. So that's number 9. Right? It's a 9th thing. So what is it? Only 8. Here's a 9th one. Amuloi. So they told him, you know why we don't count that? Einoi Hashem. Because that's not part of the story. It's not part of the Isser. Eino Hashem. Omar lehem afanozir lo Hashem. He say no. If you don't consider that part of the group, the Nazir is also not part of the group. Meaning, you're telling me if you wear Shatnez, it's not related to Charisha. I can plow very nice with Shatnez on my body, or with jeans and T-shirt on my body, or with a kapit on my body. Who cares what I wear? It's not intrinsically connected to the plowing. That's what they told him. Omar lahem, that's what you're telling me? You're looking for only things that are connected to Charisha, to plowing? The Nazir and Kohen are not connected either. Because who cares that there's a dead guy in the field? It's also not connected to Charisha. However, I have svara to defend Rabbanon, but I would not say it now. Zok de Gemore. Interesting. Okay. Zok de Gemore. What did we say up until now? When I was demonstrating the guy taking off the jacket and putting it back on, that's how we mentioned the Kilayim guy. He wears it after being warned and takes it off. He wears it again, takes it off, right? Every time he knew, he's chayv a set of malkos. Afilu machnis umoitzi. Zog the Gemore. Afilu machnis umoitzi. I don't know why they erase it in this Gemara and the other Gemaras they don't. Yeah, look at the sidebar. The real version is Omar Rav Beivai Omar Vasi Loi Poshet V'Loi V'Shmamesh Ela Afilu Machnis U'Moitze B'Siad Unkel Shaloi, which means it doesn't have to be that he took off the jacket in order to be re-mischayev a new set of malkos. Yeah, you don't have to say that he mamish took off the jacket completely and wore it back on. No, you can say you not only that, you don't have to get to that to be mechayiv malchus. Afilu machnis umoitze b'syad unkel shaloi. What does it mean? Let's say the guy half took it off. Let's say he just puts in the sleeve. Yeah, let's say some kind of jacket. He just starts putting his hand into the sleeve. He puts his hand into the sleeve halfway and took it out. Into the sleeve and out. That too is already levisha. That alone, even half a levisha of part of the levisha, because lemaisa, you're not allowed to have partial levisha on your body. Kilaim, you're not supposed to have any part of your body covered with kilaim, not even a sock on your little toe. You can't have any of that. Therefore, what? Therefore, every levisha is considered as something new, even if it's a very partial levisha. And every new wearing, you're just wearing part of it, you were halfway there or less even, you already have a new set of malchus. Machvi Ravacha Breder of Ika, Ayuli Va'apuki, Ravacha Breder of Ika, when he would teach the sugya, he would make a show and tell to the Talmidim of Ayuli Va'apuki, or bringing his hand into the sleeve, in and out, to show that alone is Mechayev Malchus. Ravashi says, Afilu loy shoy lekadlifshot velilbo ish chayev. Ravashi says a huge chiddush. You know what Ravashi says? Listen to this. Let's say the person is spending enough time with the jacket on his body. Lifshot velilboish. What does it mean? It's enough time that allows him to take it off and put it back on. A jacket, how long does it take? You want to time it? Let's time. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Let's say it takes 7 seconds to wear my jacket, the full garb, yeah? So if a person stood he was standing still without wearing it again for 7 seconds, passively, he's chayiv a new set of malchus. Wow. Says the Rambam lahalocha, if a person stands there and he doesn't do anything, he's chayiv malchus again and again and again. The Mishnah didn't say that. The Mishnah said that if I wear the same boss suit the whole day, I was warned in the morning. Simple answer. He was warned again and again. Every time, let's say they timed him, takes 7 seconds to wear the jacket. A woman to wear some fancy chasana dress takes, I don't know, an hour. I don't know. To put on the dress takes 20 minutes. Different begodim, different people. But let's say it takes, 10 seconds to put the levush, yeah? Button down, button up. Then, if he was warned every 10 seconds, he's chayiv again. He's passively sitting there drinking his coffee in the coffee store, knowingly wearing the Shatnez suit, right? And we know that it takes 10 seconds to take off and put on again. Yeah? Taking off and putting on. So it's more than 7 seconds. 15 seconds to remove and rewear. Then every 15 seconds he was warned, take it off. And he doesn't. Another 15 seconds, take it off. We allow him to have enough time to take off, and he should have taken off, and he doesn't. Every time he could have taken off and worn again, it's Ki'ilu took off, in Ki'ilu wore it again, and he's chayav per warning. That's a difference. In the Reisha, in the Mishnah, we spoke about warning. 9 o'clock in the morning, he appears to Koilel. He shows everyone, look, I have a fancy suit. And the Avrechim tell him, hey, Yidele, you have a Shatnez in the suit. It says Shatnez not free. With Shatnez, laden with Shatnez. And they warn him one time. That's it. And then he goes in and out of toilet, of the coffee room, and he keeps taking it on and off, right? He's have only one warning. But if he sits and learns with the jacket on, and they warn him every 10 seconds, and 10 seconds is a period of time he could have made a difference, then he's chayiv again and again and again and again every 10 seconds. He's chayiv per warning, but every time he could have and should have taken it off. Yes, that's halacha. That's halacha. We don't have malchus nowadays, but if there's warning again and again, conceptually, he should have gotten malchus. Yesh choresh telem. Yeah, yesh choresh telem. Amar bi'anai, what is, as I kept stressing, let me just explain something very, 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 very fundamental before we continue. There is no prohibition regarding kilaim to plow. It doesn't say it in the Torah. I promise you, I'm not such a baki in Chumash, but then I can tell you, it says, Sadcha lo tizra kilaim. Don't plow, not plow, don't sow, don't plant your field with kilaim of different types. And this guy is not sowing seeds, he is plowing. So why is he chayev? So we kept stressing, the seeds already there from before, maybe before Yom Tov. He's now plowing, right? Plowing means that they go deep into the ground because he's now covering them. He's continuing the process of sowing. Yeah, because already on the ground. Yeah, he's just Messiah further. Yeah. Then you come back. Right, so that's a second charisha. Yeah, it's a second charisha. It's a second time. Good point. That's more in Shabbos Daf and Gimel Amud Beis. It's a second plowing. Very good. Must be this is the plowing we're talking about. The second one. Amar Bianai, says Bianai, Bechabura, we had a group, Rivan says, yeah, what's a Chabura? They said they had Yom Asifa Yom Vad. They're like one day, especially one day, everyone would convene, a lot of Talmidei Chachamim, like a convention in America. Yeah, they would convene, all learn Torah together. Yeah. Nimna v'gomu, they all counted and they decided, a choife bekilaim loike, a person who covers the seeds of kilaim, they're already there, and he covers them, choife like chupa, cover. He covers the kilaim, is chayev malkos. Okay, why is the choife loike? We're going to see now. Okay, fine. That seems to be clear from the Mishnah, right? Amalin Rabbi Yochanan. Rabbi Yochanan is answering Rabbi Yanai. I'm so sorry. What were you mechadish in your big convention? It's a before Mishnah. The Mishnah says what you're saying. Yesh choresh telem echod v'chayev olav mishum shmoin lavin. We said a person is plowing, he's not throwing any seeds. The Mr. 8 Isurim of the Mishnah is not touching any seeds. What does he do? He's only plowing, and he's chayev 8 separate aveiras. Tell him echod shmoin lavin achoyrish mishor b'chamo then mukdoshin vekilayim bekerem. Please stress the words kilayim bekerem. Rabbi Yochanan is now analyzing the Mishnah. Let's break it apart. Choresh, kilayim. Why would choresh chayv on kilayim? Last time I checked my chumash, I see dotizra kilayim. What does choresh have to do with kilayim? Choresh and zoreh are two separate malachos. For Shabbos, for everything, lav must be, and I can figure out myself. Without you, with your chabura, lav the michsi ba'adei, the ozil must be that as he was walking and as he was plowing, he's covering it. Peretz said correctly. It's a second charisha. The what's the names already maybe in a faro. Those seeds, there are 3 seeds together according to Tosfos. Now he's doing the plowing of what? That as he walks along, he now turns over the ground and it covers them. Now they're covered, and it seems like it's an issue of kilayim. So what was the big chiddush in your chabura that I can't see with my own eyes, black and white, from the Mishnah? That's Rabbi Yochanan's claim against Rabbi Yanai. Omar lei. So now Rabbi Yanai replies to Rabbi Yochanan, and he says, "Ilav de deloy lach chaspa mimashkachas marganisa tuta." An expression appears many times in the Gemara. If not for me, in other words, many times you say, aha, after somebody gave you the idea as if you knew it before, right? You know, how come I didn't think about it before? Says Rabbi Yanai to Rabbi Yochanan and Shuldik Rabbi, if not for me picking up the piece of chaspa, there's a piece, it's a mushal, of course. There's a piece of chaspa, a piece of shard of clay, something cheap. If not for me picking it up, would you have found the diamond underneath? In other words, the Mishnah has a diamond in it. A new concept called that charisha b'kilayim is osir. You wouldn't have known it without, to me, revealing it to you. In other words, you're right and you're wrong at the same time. It's true that it's alluded to in the Mishnah, but it's not clearly written in the Mishnah. Explains the Rashbam. Now it's about to now going to the deeper business. What would have I thought? What's the big discovery? Is the Mishnah telling me outright, mefurash, that, what's the Mishnah telling me? You do charisha, kilayim. It's also, why is the diamond covered? It's quite obvious, yeah? You plowing, kilayim, kilayim is also by plowing. What's the chiddush? Now, before we continue, we have to see that piece of Rivan. Rivan now, this Rivan is we can't skip it. Look at the fourth wide line towards the end of the line. Ilav the kirsach gavrara. No, before that. No, before the shorter one. No, we have a shorter one. The third wide line, mi meshkaches marganisa. Look at the havamina that we could have thought without Rabbi Yanai. Look at Rashi. Rivan. The ilav the amrilach. If not for me telling you that really there's a prohibition of choresh in kilaim, havi omar choresh lebechai bekilaim la mishum zorea. Ela mishum mekayim the shavik v'lo okar lehu. Mazel tov. Let me translate and explain. As we're going to see very soon, there's a big machlokes tanoim about the following case. Let's start with the case, make it a bit flowery, excuse the pun, and then we'll continue to our Mishnah. Let's say there's a guy who has kilaim in his field, and let's say that even he didn't do it. He's somebody else has kilaim in his field. Let's say he did do it, just in case. Yeah, whatever. Him and his friend, one planted here, the other one together planted the other one. There's kilaim in the field for whichever reason, and the guy is told, "Mister, you know that you have kilaim in your field," and he says one of the two. He says, "I don't care. I just keep it like that. I don't have koach to start, uprooting it. They're growing, and every second they're growing is according to some an issur. You have an issur happening in your field, and you're oblivious to it. And he says, "I don't care. Leave me alone. I'm getting ready for Yom Kippur. I'm buying a kittel. I don't have time for that." He is on purpose aware of the fact is my field, even if he didn't plant, or even let's say he did. The point is mekayim kilaim. He's keeping kilaim in his field passively, right? And according to Rabbi Akiva, which we'll see later, that's a reason for malkos, for chiyuv. They warn him, you have kilaim growing, and he says, I don't care. Or he says, yeah, I'll take care of it when my daughter graduates seminary. She's now 2 years old. Yeah, so then what? Then what do we say? According to Rabbi Akiva, that negligence of mekayim kilaim, allowing the existing forbidden matzav to just stay there and be as it is, that is of itself, according to Rabbi Akiva, although you did not plant actively b'chlal, you're completely passive, that's chiyuv malkos, once he's warned. That's a chiddush of Rabbi Akiva. When we talk about plowing, now the cat is out of the bag. When a person already has those kilaim inside, they're already in the furrow, and you're making another furrow to turn them over, and you're mechazik the situation, that's the diamond under the cheres. Because there are two ways to explain the Mishnah. The first way is as follows. I could say, like Rabbi Yochanan and Rabbi Yanai, the what? This is Zorea, as I told you before. It's a toda of Zorea. Just like Zorea actively is also, to bring it deeper into the ground by covering is considered as an active zriya. But that is a chiddush, because you could have said, you know why the person who is going with the machresha is chayav? Not because of active zriya, but because by going there, whistling away, and choresh, and allowing the kilaim to fall, it's part of mekayim kilaim. In other words, the fact you're just plowing it is not considered to be a derivative of zorea. It belongs to a different machloka, to a different section called allowing it to just stay there. Get the question? Again, let me repeat the question. According to Tanakama, which is not Rabbi Akiva, which we're going to see soon, if I whistle away and I drink my coffee and I watch the kilaim grow and I say, one day, one day, one day you're going to tidy your machsan, one day you'll deal with the light bulb at the end of the house. You know that one day, maybe Erev Pesach, yeah, you know about that? One day. According to Chachamim, not nice, very bad. You're not chayiv. You only chayiv an active. According to Tanakama, you chayiv an active zriya. How would I explain the Mishnah, which is what we're saying now? Covering with the plowing is a derivative of Zriya. Because I'm only have an active ma'asim of putting in the ground, sowing, when I cover it with the ground, that is also considered an action like a tondo of Zriya. And that's why I'm chayiv. That is a diamond. That's a chiddush. Why is it a chiddush? Because there's an entirely different way to explain the Mishnah. I could have explained the Mishnah, Rabbi Akiva style. What? Really, even if I'm passive, I'm smoking cigarette and drinking the coffee, watching the kilaim grow, and I say, that's cool, or I'll do it after my son's bar mitzvah, who's now 8. Then what? Says Rabbi Akiva, Chayav malkos. To be a passive aggressive is chayav malkos. Mekayem, you let it stay in your field, you're chayav. I would have said, maybe really when you're choife, when you cover the existing zoim, it's not a derivative of zriya. And according to Chacham, it would be potur. I just told you the bomb, the nafkamina. Only Rabbi Akiva, he believes that being passive is chayav. So also, when you cover them, you don't take them out, you don't pull them out, but you continue having them there, even covered. That's why you chayav. But maybe Chachamim, who believe you need active zriya, maybe they will not consider the covering as zriya. That's a shaila. Why is it not so difficult? Again, the question is as follows: according to Chachamim, it's very very clear question. According to those, i.e. Chachamim, who say I need to, in order to be chayiv, I'm only chayiv if I'm actively zoreah, plowing boom boom into the ground. Do we say that covering the existing zroim already halfway on the ground is that called active zriya or not? The Mishnah said that you chayev. Thank you. Maybe that Mishnah is Rabbi Akiva Mishnah. Rabbi Akiva says that being passive is osir. So as I plow, it's another action. It's like a passive action. I'm letting it stay as it is and even improving it a little bit. Yeah. 1 second. Let me finish to the end. We've had issues with the question yesterday. So with your permission, let's continue. Now, okay. That's why, everything we said will be even clearer now. Says L'Shlakish to Rabbi Yochanan, Ilav the Kirsach Gavra Rabba, if not for the fact that a great person praised you, the great person Rabbi Yanai, if not for that, I would have said the opposite. Hava Amina, I would have said Masnisin Mani Rabbi Akiva. What you and your friend Rabbi Yanai believe is not the pshat in the Mishnah. You know what? I actually like it. I would have said that is pshat in the Mishnah. What's pshat in the Mishnah? The Mishnah follows Rabbi Akiva and only Rabbi Akiva. The Omar says Rabbi Akiva, "Hamekayim kilayim loike." Very good. Rabbi Akiva says a person who's mekayim kilayim. You have kilayim, you did not plow them, you did not plant them, you did not sow them, but you know about their existence and you leave it there. By the way, we had at the beginning of Bavasa, if you remember. Bavasa Daf Beis has such a case. Let's say there are two guys. I'm giving a good case. If that bothers you, Tzvi, I'm not sure. I'll talk to you soon. Let's say there's a field, with a divider in between. My field, your field, with you remember the wall, beginning of a Basra? There's a Berlin Wall between us. At some point it fell, right? Now I have, what do I have? I have Geffen, you have Chitin, right? Different types. And the wall fell. All of a sudden, by itself, the wall fell because of an earthquake. Now between us, there's no separation. So between my vine and your, I don't know, whatever, wheat, there's no separation. So we have to quickly build the wall or eradicate, pull out everything. And if I'm being passive, and I'll tell you that, you know when I'm going to build that wall? After Yomim Tovim, Achrei Chagim, as we all say, yeah? After the Yom Tovs, we'll do that. Meaning, I'll deal with it in 40 days' time. But then it's going to be a bomb of a chita, right? So then, according to Rabbi Akiva, I'm like it. According to Rabbi Akiva, if I let it grow without taking care of it ASAP, knowingly, b'mezid, I'm like it. I'm like it. Right? So that's Rabbi Akiva. And therefore, Rabbi Akiva is the one who said that mechape, that covering, mechape belongs to the more passive action. Because remember, mechape, cover, is not real plowing. So maybe the author of the Mishnah is Rabbi Akiva. My Rabbi Akiva, thank you for your patience, Tzvi. Let me just continue a little bit more then. Which Rabbi Akiva you saw that says that? Tell me, where did you see this big chiddush? The Tanya, it says in the Brisa, a menakesh v'amechape b'kilayim loike. Menakesh is the person who does what? He pulls out weeding. He pulls out the bad weeds. What does he do? It helps the kilayim grow. I have vine over here and I have wheat over here. Mr. Vine and Mr. Weitz are together. Very nice. Wine and wheat together. And there's a lot of bad weeds. And I want to make sure that the kilayim grows even nicer. Hi. And what I do, I pull out the bad weeds to help the kilayim grow even more. So then what happens then? So Loike says who? Now we would say that's Tanakama. Menakesh, you pulling out, or mechape, you covering them, you help the growth, you get malkos. Rabbi Akiva Omer Afa Mekayim. Now, says L'Shlakish, this is a huge chiddush. When Rabbi Akiva says Mekayim, meaning what's Mekayim? To let it stay as it is without taking care of it, to purposely, neglect it. Says L'Shlakish, Menakesh and Mechape is all Rabbi Akiva. In other words, Rabbi Akiva believes the Menakesh and Mechape are all derivatives of Mekayim. Any types of kiyum, either I'm passive completely, or I help it in a little side way of helping it grow without sewing, then I'm chayiv. But according to Rish Lakish, Tanakama never says that mechape is chayiv. According to Rish Lakish, really, when Tanakama says you chayiv, you only chayiv on sowing. You know what sowing? Look, there's a seed, boom, into the ground, boom, into the ground. That's it. You're not chayiv on anything else. To help the growth, according to Tanakama, is not chayiv because of zoreah. That's a big machlokes here. Let me summarize, and then I can hear a question. Then we'll see the makor for Rabbi Akiva. Let's summarize. It says Rabbi Akiva as follows. Yeah? Let's summarize from the beginning. The Heilige Torah said not to be zorek kilayim. Sad chalut is kilayim, right? You're not allowed to sow, boom, to plant one seed after the other. There's an isser. Happy? Good. The kula alma. What happens if I'm passive and I just let it grow when it happened by itself? The wall fell? Machlokes. Tanakama says you're not chayiv. Rabbi Akiva says you are chayiv. We all know that. Comes the third case. That third case, I would call it half passive, half passive aggressive. It's half passive and half active. I'm not zorea, but I'm not passive. I'm helping in all kinds of sideways. I'm helping it grow. That's machlokes Rabbi Yochanan and Rish Lakish. Would chachamim that require zriya, would they say that is zorea? And that's what Rabbi Yochanan and Rabbi Yanai say. Rish Lakish says no. Chachamim require real zriya. They would not be mechayiv you on covering. They would only be mechayiv on sewing. So why chayiv on covering in the Mishnah? It's Rabbi Akiva. Only Rabbi Akiva that says passive. Of course, he says that covering is chayiv. These are the two opinions. Yes. What would you like to say? Is it still relevant to question? Continue a few lines and then ask a question. No, I'm willing to hear it if you want. Weiter. My time with Rabbi Akiva. Where did Rabbi Akiva take his idea from? It says in the Torah not to plant, not to plant, not to sow. Where did it come up with that idea? So Gemara the Tanya, it says in the Braisa, Sodcho lutizra kilaim. It says, don't be zorea your field with kilaim. And zorea mekayim inayin. How do I know that the person is mekayim? He leaves it there. He lets it happen without zriya. How do you know that a passive action is also chayiv? Talmud loymar kilaim sodcho loy. Look at the pasuk in the sidebar. It says in the pasuk, Vayikra yutes yat yat. Es chukoysa tishmor be'em techalot erbia kilaim. You hear the words? Don't let your animals mate kilaim. Let's say a donkey and a horse. Yeah. Sodcho letizra kilaim. And then he talks about the field, and then ubeged kilaim. Three types of kilaim in one pasuk. But if you notice the pasuk about behema, the first part it says loy terbia kilaim, comma sodcho letizra. There's another way of reading it. Kilaim sod choloi tizra. You see, the Torah phrased it in such a way. Kilaim sod choloi. If you have kilaim, your sod shouldn't be like that. Get that? In other words, if you take basically a screenshot of the three words in the pasuk, kilaim sod choloi, doesn't say zriya. Kilaim, you have kilaim in your field. Lo. You have kilaim. Don't have that situation of kilaim exist in your field, says Rabbi Akiva. That's his source. Chachamim don't read the pasuk that way, and they say no, it means lo tizra, and he says without zriya. That's Rabbi Akiva's source. Very nice. Okay, I can continue. If there are questions, I'm willing to hear. Now we come to a new point in the sugya. Amar lo Rav Nachman, velil kinami mishum zorea beyom tov. Oh, question. If you're telling me that this guy, how many agricultural actions is really doing here? If it's true what you're saying, Rabbi Yana and the Chabura and Rabbi Yochanan and the Choshev HaMeroim, they say what? When I cover the seeds, it's considered as zorea. By the way, in Hilchas Shabbos, there's also such an opinion in Maseches Moed Koton Dav Beis Amud Beis Machlokes Rabbi and Rav Yosef. If I cover, Menakesh Mashkel Ezroim, I continue the growth of existing things. It's a total of what? Of zorea. So wait a second. So the guy's doing two things: is choresh and zorea. You told me it's Yom Tov. So really, there are no 8. There's 9 because one of the 8 is what? One of the 8 is choresh and Yom Tov. But you tell me it's also zorea. So charisha and zorea are 2 told us you should be chayiv on Yom Tov too, right? So 8 plus 1 is, I think, kind of 9. Yeah. Omer lei tana v'shir. Yeah. Okay, Enochanami, the Tana didn't mean 8, it left 1 item behind. There is another item, another aveira called Zriya B'Yom Tov, but we left it unmentioned. Omer Le, you can't say that. Tana Ktani Shmoyne, V'Atama Tana V'Shir. The Tana gives us a number. You can only say Tana V'Shir the Tana did not mention everything but left some to our imagination, that's when there's no number mentioned. If number 8 is mentioned, how can you say that there's left over? It says 8, excluding any to exclusion of all else. Omarove, this is huge yesod we're about to see. Yesh chiluk meloches b'Shabbos, ve'en chiluk meloches b'Yom Tev. Omarlei adatehe. This is a good answer. And with that, we will finish in 4 minutes. I think it'll take me 4 minutes to explain. Oh, Shabbos, Shabbos, Shabbos. Those of you who come to the evening shiur know about Shabbos, and those of you who don't come also know about Shabbos. What about if a person by mistake, yeah, he didn't know that you're allowed to cook on Shabbos, and he didn't know that you're not allowed to be boirer on Shabbos. He didn't know either. And he did both by mistake. How many chatois does he have to bring to the Holy Temple? Two. Two. He made two mistakes. He knows it's Shabbos. He forgot about bishul and he forgot about boirer. He has to bring two. What about a person who was very industrial and in one Shabbos he broke all 39 malachas? He has to bring 39 chatois. That's a chiddush, right? True. Why? Because the Torah tells us there are two sources in Masechet Shabbos Daf Ayin Amud Aleph. I'm not going to it right now. Either because of havora that's mentioned separately, or because of a pasuk about chatos. Shabbos, each av melocho, and it's told us, is a separate section, separate department. And therefore, I can come to Beis Hamikdash on Sunday. A person working in the garden can be over easily on 10 different malachos. Zoreach, choresh, boirer, meraked, v'chulei, yeah, toichen, yeah. He'll do all 10 malachos. He'll bring how many shepsach? How many of them will fall into Beis Hamikdash as korban chatas? Per what? Per malacha. Each malacha is separate. The Beisai. That's only true, says the Gemara, about Shabbos, not about Yom Tov. Whopa. Yom Tov, if I, let's say, did two malachas at once, I'm chayv only one set of malkos. What about chatas? There's no chatas in Yom Tov. That's the reason. In Yom Tov, there's no chatas. When does one bring chatas? When he did something by mistake, who otherwise would have been a chorus. No chorus in Yom Tov. And no chiyuv misa. The person who does a malacha in Yom Tov, it's a very severe thing. Don't be makel Rosh Hashanah. But lamaisa, if you do it, you're not chayav misa b'de odom. You're not chayav chorus. So since there's no chatas, the pasuk that tells me about the separation of 39 malacha, separation of state and religion, each one is separate. That's only a pasuk to do with korban chatas. There is no chatas in Yom Tov, so it's one iser. If I eat 3 pieces of chazer in one go with one hell and one thing, I'm chayav not 3, I'm chayav 1. So to Yom Tov, all the malachos of Yom Tov is kilo repeated the same aveira. There's one shem aveira. What did you do in Yom Tov? You can do 20 things in Yom Tov that are osir. It's as if you repeated the same thing twice with one hasra. And therefore, your Mechal in Yom Tov is one unit, one bulk, and not 39. Huge kiddush here in the Gemara. Amarlei Ada, he said, Adate, so it is, I believe you're right. Eis ve'abaye, da-da-da-da. Oh, cliffhanger. We are now left with a bias question, and we'll see that Be'ez Hashem on Sunday. Next week's shiur every day. We have to cover an Amud every day next week because we're expecting the siyum of Reb Tzvi, such yummy food. We can't wait. Atzlacha v'rocha. Thank you all. And thank you to those of you who watch us on Torah Anytime.